Hello, everybody. Welcome to Planet Holistic. My name is Todd Schaefer, and with me, as always, is
Kira Schaefer.
Hello, Kira. How are you today?
I'm doing really good.
It's great to have you.
Great to have you.
And today we've got a really exciting guest today. We have the amazing Jamie Lynn Warber. Jamie Lynn. Do you go by Jamie Lynn or just Jamie?
Jamie Lynn, please.
Jamie Lynn, please. Okay.
Okay, Jamie Lynn, please.
So,
that was a good laugh.
so Jamie Lynn, please, can you tell us about... I'm not...
Don't do that the whole time. You're so...
The reason I'm so excited to have Jamie Lynn on the podcast is because she is doing something I'm seeing online that I'm really excited about. She is stepping into a leadership role and promoting and starting her own community and getting voices together. And she's going to be hosting a telesummit, I believe. And I'm just super excited whenever somebody steps into the role of I'm
making a big difference.
I'm making a difference now. I want to play at a bigger level here and make a bigger contribution. And as we discussed with Jamie Lynn before the podcast, was that it takes a lot of work to step into a leadership role.
Yeah, it does.
You don't always get appreciated, but other leaders can see what you're doing and really appreciate it and say, wow, this is so cool that you're doing this. And I really appreciate that you're doing this. And the most of all, you're setting a wonderful example for other people to step into those self-empowerment roles. So Jamie Lynn, welcome to the podcast. How are you today?
Thank you so much, Ted. I am absolutely amazing despite how my voice sounds.
Good.
And thank you. It's definitely, when you're working on this side of things, you get so much into the work that you forget what it's doing.
Yeah.
And to be recognized at any level is amazing to me because it's like, great, I'm on the right track. Someone noticed.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I can notice it when I'm in your group and I can feel it also. And I can see you reaching out and it's just wonderful. And the thing that I love most when people step into a leadership role of any sort is that you have decided at some level to not succumb to fear and self-doubt. Like it still may be going on in the background, but you've decided to act in spite of those things. And that is something that really impresses me about you. So,
thank you. But I'm sorry to interrupt, but I've got to do this. I didn't decide. There's a big, big difference with the word decide for me, and it's become a pet peeve.
okay.
I really did choose this. And I just want to explain the difference real quick. If we can look at the words, and they're bad, horrible words, pesticide, homicide, suicide, the side words, it kills something off, right? Every time, one of those things that kills something off. So what does decide do? It kills off possibility. It kills off your heart. It kills off, opportunity. So I don't decide, I choose.
Okay. I like it. Very cool. Yeah, I think the semantic was probably along the same line, but I appreciate the distinction because choosing something sounds more powerful, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think there might be more power in that word choose.
Mm-hmm.
Well, choose, there's no explanation, there's no figuring out, there's just my heart wants it and I'm going to do it and I choose it.
Okay.
I like it.
I like it. I stand corrected. So tell us more about what you've chosen to do. Tell us more about these leadership type groups and activities that you're managing.
Yeah, oh my God, it's my passion. So thanks for asking that question. So first of all, Arise Empowered LLC was founded in December 2018, which putting that in retrospect is not really that long ago. But this is an ongoing thing that I've wanted since I was a child. I wanted to make a difference for the masses. I didn't know what area. I'm talking 7 years old. nothing big or bad had happened to me at 7 years old, but I wanted to make a difference somewhere. So Arise Empowered empowers lives one voice at a time. And under the umbrella of Arise Empowered, I actually have Breakthrough and Thrive, which that tagline's a bit longer, so hold on. Ignite your power. Take charge of your healing. Create your happiness after experiencing sexual abuse and trauma. And I have it that if you've experienced it and you've somehow found ways to master certain aspects of it and you want to give back, then that's what you do. And so my story of how, like, why Breakthrough and Thrive, why Arise Empowered. Arise Empowered is like you're rising up. You're rising above the old thought habits. You're rising above that negative mindset, and you're causing something bigger, right? And Breakthrough and Thrive is like the base. You have to break through it first before you can rise. This is just kind of my abstract thinking. And then to thrive. And once you start thriving, you can become like warrior mode, you know, fighting for others. And it just kind of comes naturally. So the Breakthrough and Thrive Summit is a compilation of 21 speakers across 11 days. The next one starts September 18th. I really market that inside of the Breakthrough and Thrive group, pretty much the longest one after Breakthrough and Thrive. If you type that in the search box on Facebook, that's me. Come into our group. We've got a lot of great people in there. And the summit, you know, brings forth opportunities of different ways of healing. I've had doctors in there. I've had energetic healers in there. I have our sweet Kira in there. And not to spill too much about what Kira and I talk about, but it is the opportunity of once you've reached a certain point, you want to give back. And that's what Kira is representing inside of that conversation. And then I also do what's called awareness talks, and awareness talks brings insight and action to your life. So Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9 a.m., YouTube, I launch a video, and we talk about various different aspects of mind and nutrition and body, and it's about 5 to 7 minutes, so it doesn't take much of the day, you know, to listen to this. And then I go ahead and post it in the group. So if you're not a YouTuber and you are a Facebooker, you could go over to the group and grab it there. And then on Wednesdays, I do something really special for the Breakthrough and Thrive group. I'm in there at 9 o'clock live, just with the group, nowhere else. And you can come in, you can ask questions, you can share stories. And, you know, I do my best to get like back to you. I read through it all and work with it all. And, you know, I'm also launching what's called the Empowerment Program. I don't have a date set on that one yet, but the Empowerment Program is a 12-week course on really getting who you are and some real neat distinctions in your life, like integrity and responsibility and nutrition awareness. Nutrition, for me, I say that a lot. It's a really big deal. I actually have celiac disease, and I'm not getting treated for it or anything. I do all that work on my own and holistically, and I have some people who guide me as far as which vitamins I need to take and things like that. But I believe it's a stress-based disease. It came up because of the stresses that I dealt with as a kid. And to just touch on your, like, some of you may be wondering, why do all this? Where did you come from? Well, I talked about the experience before. 8 years of sexual abuse by family members. And then when I was 15, I was also talking to an online predator before we had terms for this, right? Just when it was starting out. And I started to realize how much I was being used, and I had to get bold really fast. I had people telling me I had to do this. I had people, you know, wishing and hoping I never did. And I came out with it all. And, you know, people were arrested. I had to go through court and stuff like that. Some of the sentencing was 6 months. Another one of them was 20 years. Another one was 2 years. Some didn't get sentenced at all. So I know what it's like to go through hard times and be depressed. And I don't know, you know, like substance addiction, but I know process addiction. I know anger as an addiction, and I've fought through all of that, and I've taken courses and just invested in myself. And that's how, and that's why I can stand here inside of this leadership role for the first time in my life. I've never done anything like this before. I've never created a program before. I'm standing here. I'm a voice for those who don't have one, and I'm a space for those who wish to heal.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing all those details. I do have a couple other questions for you specifically about leadership. You said something really interesting, and that was once you reach a certain point, you want to start giving back.
Yeah.
What was that point for you?
I wasn't I don't think any of us can be 100% healed. I think that'd be very boring if we were. But I was at a point where I felt healed enough that I was sort of waking up, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I can do this for someone else. So then inside of the programs I was taking, I took a leadership role, and I was terrified, absolutely terrified to work with the participants in a program that I barely understood. Mm-hmm. And this gal, she came up to me and she goes, I've never told my father that his best friend abused me. And I looked at her, and we're not supposed to share our personal stories with them, but I'm like, I have to. So I shared my story. I was like, listen, my dad didn't want to see me that way. He wanted me to envision me as this innocent, perfect little girl who was going to grow up and have this amazing family and the amazing life and none of the bad stuff. But don't you think we owe it to our dads to let them know that we've been hurt and that we need them? And so she's got tears in her eyes, and she's shaking like crazy, and I'm shaking like crazy. I'm like, listen, you don't have to go in the back into the room this second. Why don't you go make that call? And she goes, and he didn't pick up at first. I was like, okay, just give it 5 minutes, try one more time, and then go back in the room if you can. Okay. She goes up. An hour and a half later, she finds me, and she said, he still loves me. I'm like, sweetie, of course he still loves you. And I realized that I could give back, and that I didn't blurt my whole story out to her like I had been. Like, my story would bleed out to people out of defense, because I didn't want anybody asking me questions about it. I might as well just tell you the whole thing. And I'd go into really ucky detail. And the difference I made with her and her dad, that was the moment that I knew I was ready to step into the role I was born for. And I knew what the topic had to be. So I get a little worked up on that one.
Well, that's completely understandable. Wow. So you're giving back in a bigger and a more prolific way, and able to connect more and more people to their truth and be able to make and connect these dots the way you're speaking about. So how do people get in touch with you and be a part of this leadership journey with you?
Yeah, so there's actually quite 3 ways that you can do this. So ariseempoweredllc.com. And then here's my business phone number for those of you who'd like to connect with me directly, 715-600-1926, so 1926. If email feels safer for you, there's Jamie Lynn, so JamielLynn.ariseempowered@gmail.com.
Perfect. That's awesome. Thank you so much for spending your time with us today, Jamie Lynn.
Oh, it was very exciting and very much an honor to work with both of you.
It's so cool to see people like you who want to give back and who don't wait for permission. They just say, you know what? I feel it in my heart. I'm ready to do something bigger. And just that choice, like you said, makes all the difference in the kind of impact that you can make. So thank you for being that example for other people.
You're welcome. And I'd like to acknowledge one thing on what you just said, because I think it's really powerful. It's not that I woke up one morning and I said it and then I did it. I actually had to fight my inner self a lot to be able to get to where I am. But the thing is that there's hope. You know, as soon as you let go of that inner fight and you realize who you are and how powerful you are,